There are three broad matters that I would like to address in this presentation, those being Ridley's tremendous financial success since 2006, our role in the local community and beyond, and Ridley's strategic importance to Canada. And then I hope there are some questions that you may have that I'll try to answer. I also am going to put up some images that may help you visualize the scope and the reach of Ridley Terminals. Northwest British Columbia is booming. It is booming largely because of mining and energy. Copper, gold, silver, and molybdenum mines are being developed or reopened in the area. Expansion of aluminum processing, extension of high voltage transmission systems into unserved areas, and port development for coal, hydrocarbon, logs, lumber, pulp, wood pellets, and containers all contribute to that economic boom. Private companies, Canada and British Columbia are investing significant capital into the Pacific Gateway and Corridor Initiative. Ridley Terminals is an important part of the Gateway Initiative and as a service link for coal mine expansion across Western Canada and into the USA as far south as Wyoming. Ridley Terminals was built in 1984 to serve the Quintet coal mine at Tumbler Ridge in northeast BC. It is a federal Crown corporation. Financially, it has been a failure most of the time between 1984 and 2006. Ridley's accumulated deficit in 2006 had reached well over $200 million, meaning taxpayers had subsidized by around $2 every ton of product shipped from Ridley. In the year 2006, the government reversed a decision by its predecessor taken in 2005, which had attempted to sell Ridley for around $5 million. And instead, Ridley was given the mandate to operate in a commercial manner. As a result of that 2006 mandate, Ridley has gone from losing around $900,000 in 2005 to earning a net income of $31 million in 2010. Our projected net profit for the year ending December 2011, under new accounting rules, will be around $100 million. Today, Ridley's enterprise value is not the $5 million it was sold for in 2005, but rather a projected $750 million at the 2012 year end, and approaching $1.5 billion when our current expansion completes by 2015. At year-end 2012, that plus $200 million accumulated deficit I mentioned will be gone, to be replaced by retained earnings. By any measure, that is an extraordinary financial success story for taxpayers, and it's one I'm confident that you haven't heard much about. Ridley has achieved that turnaround by requiring its users to pay full market price for service, provide minimum guaranteed throughput, and by preferring long-term contracts to spot arrangements. In 2005, Ridley had 3 customers without fixed contracts. Today, we have 12 customers under long-term contract. Great job-creating companies like Walter Energy, Teck Coal, and Mitsubishi Canada. Ridley is about halfway through a plus $200 million capital expansion program that doubles our capacity from 12 million metric tons per year to 25 million metric tons by sometime in late 2014. We can and we will be growing that capacity threshold to 30 million tons by the installation of a forced stacker reclaimer once Transport Canada approves our plan to do so. And we have begun initial planning to acquire more land from the Port Authority, option a water lot for a second jetty, so we can grow Ridley's capacity to 60 million metric tons, which will make Ridley one of the largest facilities of its kind on the entire Pacific Ocean. The often tritely used phrase, world-class, will be truly applicable both to Prince Rupert and Ridley Terminals when that next phase is completed. And 100% of the capital we so far have spent for this expansion comes from our own cash flow. No taxpayer money is being expended at Ridley Terminals. Highly important for Ridley is the social license to operate that we enjoy from our neighbors in the Prince Rupert area. From First Nations, the District of Port Edward, and the City of Prince Rupert. This community is a terrific place to invest. NIMBY doesn't own much in this area, doesn't even rent an apartment. Jobs and growth and responsible enterprise are welcome. Port activity, especially including our coal terminal, is seen as positive and desirable. At Ridley, we understand our greatest long-term risk comes from taking for granted that social license entrusted to us by neighboring communities. While we have no reason to rest on our laurels, Ridley has taken some important steps with our community partners. Operating this Crown Corporation in a commercial manner has allowed Ridley to support its social license by creating 88 new full-time, high-income jobs since 2006, enter into a benefits agreement with First Nations that allows for participation in the economy we're creating, allocate $50,000 per year to purchase Northwest BC art for donation to charities along our corridor, and with the consent of renowned artist Dempsey Bob, donate his work that we had in our offices to initiate a 5-year National Aboriginal Culture Program with the National Arts Centre at Ottawa. In each year of the 15-year contract with our tug assist partner, Schmidt Marine, 2 local First Nation persons are given opportunity to grow a career somewhere in Schmidt's worldwide system. This year, 2 young men are being approached to do that at Schmidt's operations in the Bahamas. In addition, through productivity and volume increases since 2006, our long-term contract with Schmidt has enabled a 20% decrease in tug assist costs for Ridley customers and all other shippers using the Port of Prince Rupert. Like most businesses, we're experiencing retirement of highly skilled workers. Many workers have been at Ridley since 1984. We are challenged to find their skills in the north. And like others, we have been attempted to incent people to move north. At Ridley, however, we have decided to follow another path. In our midst are young people, some of whose families have lived in the area for 9,000 years. They don't need incentives to move north. They need opportunity to stay and work near home. We have hired an area First Nations professional educator as part of our senior management team to undertake a process of identifying in high school, students with an aptitude for our jobs, so we then can assist building their skill set into what we will need. Our important rail transportation partner has expressed interest working with us on this initiative because several thousand workers will retire from CN during the next 6 to 8 years. All of these initiatives, and many more, speak to Ridley's determination to maintain a positive, productive relationship with our neighbor communities so that our expansion plans will continue to be welcomed. So, I suppose a reasonable question would be, what is the strategic value of Ridley? And how does it impact anyone outside Prince Rupert? And in particular, what, if anything, has it got to do with Vancouver? Ridley's primary strategic value is in support of Canada's critical Pacific Gateway Initiative. World metallurgical coal demand has grown 91%, or 137 million metric tons since 1984 when Ridley opened. Canada's share of that growth was about 6%. By 2030, metallurgical coal demand is projected to grow a further 84%, or 217 million metric tons. Developing known Canadian metallurgical coal reserves, largely in British Columbia, could enable Canada to share in about 11%, or 25 million metric tons of that new growth. To be successful, great new coal developments along the corridor east of Ridley in northeast BC and northwest Alberta need export shipping capacity in sufficient volumes, which can only now be provided by Ridley. Currently, 4 new mines, coal mines, are in development or being expanded in northeast BC, representing in excess of $2.5 billion in new investment. In northwest Alberta, in the Hinton area, there are 2 new coal mines being developed and a third being expanded, representing another $1.5 billion in new investment. At Edmonton, Fort McMurray, and Lloydminster, byproducts from the hydrocarbon refining process called petroleum coke is being shipped through Ridley. As we all know, those projects are expanding, and so too will their pet coke byproducts. These vital Canadian exports are transported from Ridley by ship to Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, China, Mexico, Brazil, Hawaii, and the Netherlands. Ridley Terminals in the small community of Prince Rupert in the past 6 years has become a vital link in a complex global logistics chain for energy products being developed across northern BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan that all speak to Canada's energy superpower destiny. Ridley's unused or underused assets also include an ability to unload from rail cars, store in tanks, and export liquids by ship from our existing jetty. We have had interest expressed about those assets for users ranging from exporting liquid sulfur, bulk canola, other vegetable oils, and various hydrocarbon products, to importing caustic soda and petroleum distillates. Potential to provide bunkering service at Ridley for ships traveling to the northwest of British Columbia also is being examined. For a time, Ridley shipped some wood pellets over its coal belt system. That program proved unsatisfactory to all who were involved. It requires major retooling if it's going to be workable, and so far, no economic concept has emerged. But in addition to those northern products, Ridley has become an important potential link for Teck's ability to expand and export molar coal from southeast BC mines near Sparwood. As one who served in Victoria during a time when some politicians in the media loved to play off southeast BC coal mines against new mines in northeast BC, I could not imagine seeing the day when southeast BC coal producers would be pressing government to expand capacity at the very port set up to serve northeast BC mines. But that precisely is what now happens. And because southeast BC coal is shipped out of Ridley at Prince Rupert, Kamloops has become a key link in the logistics chain. Train sets are pulled by CP power from Sparwood to Kamloops and by CN power to Prince Rupert. Kamloops is a junction between Canada's two great national railroads, actually has opportunity for considerable growth in transportation. The third way, the Prince Rupert Gateway, including Ridley, is a critical element for Canada's Pacific trade strategy. In my view, involves basic risk management. And what I'm going to say next, I don't want people to run out and light their hair on fire and get too excited, but we should think about this. Two narrow river valleys host both of our national railways, those being the Thompson and Fraser Canyons. That vital route for Canada's Pacific region exports is subject to washouts, avalanches, mudslides, and most importantly, earthquake. Overwhelmingly, Canada's trade with Asia depends on that single route through the Thompson and Fraser Canyons, and equally overwhelmingly, that fact poses economic risk for all Canadians, but especially for Western Canadians. In part, construction of the Coquihalla Highway responded to provincial concern about the need for another exit out of the lower mainland in the event of earthquake. From the late 1950s, the rock face at a place called Sailor Bar, south of Boston Bar and Highway 1, has been bolted to the mountainside. In 1965, the nearby Holt Slide shut Highway 3, and by nearby I mean as the crow flies. And in 2010, Mount Meager near Lillooet experienced major slides. All three relate to earth tremors. All three point to considerable vulnerability associated with that single transportation corridor. Developing Northern Gateway infrastructure, both at Prince Rupert and along its corridor, is the most effective means to manage that important national strategic risk. Most British Columbians' livelihood, including people living in Vancouver, depends in some manner, either directly or indirectly, on ensuring continuous transportation infrastructure is available to export products from Western Canada to the world uninterrupted, and to be able to import products produced in Asia back into Canada for our own use. We all have a great self-interest in ensuring Canada's single Pacific Gateway strategy develops two meaningful ocean exits and does not err by unnecessary over-reliance on only one ocean transit point. These are great and exciting times for Canada. For Western Canada, for British Columbia, for Vancouver, for Prince Rupert, and certainly for people like me who harbor a deep passion for all things transportation and trade. While Canada's often Toronto-centric, but so-called national media occasionally still talk about trade with China as something done in the Far East, we in this province quietly, effectively, and continuously have known enough about Canada's geography to understand it is best to look west when developing Canada's trade initiatives with China and elsewhere in Asia. And we've understood that since even before joining Confederation in 1871. May we all continue to thrive with these emerging markets that are our neighbors to the west, and may each of us learn to take full advantage of living in such interesting times. In conclusion, with engineering excellence from Worley Parsons, Ridley is doubling its capacity. Under the exacting and talented leadership of our President, George Dorsey, Ridley has become a highly productive and profitable enterprise, and by our board diligently executing a clear government mandate to operate in a commercial manner, Ridley's worth has grown from a giveaway $5 million enterprise value in 2005 to a projected $750 million value by year-end 2012. And most importantly, even in the midst of all that change and growth, our workers perform each and every day with an exemplary record of safety.